for low wages, okay, have incomes at least at the poverty level, okay. That's a bit of a change from this idea that Social Security wasn't intended to be the whole thing, but the poverty level has increased.
Yes,
okay?
yes.
And so now it is possible, because Social Security is based upon what you paid into it, okay, as adjusted by COLAs from year to year, but in many cases for people, the poverty level, federal poverty level has increased beyond what it is that they receive based upon what they paid into the system. So there's this thought from some of our congresspersons, senators, that we ought to have a minimum benefit that assures that people who are on Social Security have at least the poverty level. Okay. If you did that, it would increase the funding gap by 5%. Not a lot, okay, but 5%. There's also the idea of giving people work credits for years that they stayed at home. Mom raising the kids, okay?
Right.
She wasn't in the workforce, she wasn't getting paid, but she was certainly working.
That's true. One of the more difficult jobs altogether.
Okay. And if you will, I guess that gets into a lot of the, I'll just call it sex bias kinds of things that we've had in our economy for a long, long time. And so there's suggestions that perhaps that ought to be dealt with also. And by providing work credits for stay-at-home parents, okay, that could increase the gap by another 11%. So those are some of the other, as people are looking at the situation saying, well, there's been some inequities here that we should have been dealing with for some time now. We need to look at all these things at the same time. So
even though we know too that spouses are able to actually draw on their spouse, one spouse on another spouse's Social Security and go with the higher of the two if they've been married for at least 10 years. And what I found interesting when I had a Social Security representative on is that not only can the one spouse do that, but anyone that person has been married to for that meets that minimum requirement of 10 years can draw on that person's Social Security. So that person, if they, let's say they married 3 women and stay with them for 10 years, being married, when they pass, that they could end up paying out from that person's Social Security 3 times the amount. Can you believe that? I mean,
I was not aware of that.
Yes, that is true. So we have the situation for Social Security is that we have so much that has been added on and tacked on over the years, which too is adding to the gap. Now, I know that they were doing the paying for college and the like, but I believe a representative told me that, well, they used to pay until age 23. I believe what he told me is that either they have reduced that age or it's not something that they totally are involved in anymore, but we'll double check on that. But that's another area, though, where money was going out.
Yep. Well, one of the last category of these things that has been that AARP has pulled together that our legislators are talking about has to do with reducing benefits for high earners, and we've heard a little bit about that recently, and we know that creates a stir for some folks, and there are those who adamantly feel that it's only fair, and those who adamantly feel that it's not fair. Okay.
Especially we talk about removing the gap, that cap, I mean, on payment into Social Security, because they would be doing more than their fair share if you think about it, based upon what their income is.
Well, they found in analyzing what folks are talking about that by trimming benefits to the highest earning quarter of the population, okay, highest earning 25% of the population, on a sliding scale of up to 15% for top earners, okay, could fill the gap by 7%. Okay. They also took a look at it and said trimming benefits for the highest earning half, or 50% of the population, on a sliding scale of up to 28% top earners, fills the funding gap by 31%. Okay? Again, you could expect a lot of conversation about that and a great deal of disagreement. But again, it's one of the things that has been offered by different people as a way to deal with it.
And as I recall in our group, we said what I previously mentioned, that if you're talking about, as we recommend removing the cap in terms of the salaries that are where Social Security is taken from that income, we remove the cap, then we should not have this. But if we don't have the other, then we should have this possibly as a possible strong consideration. So a lot of these kind of hinge on some other things kind of happening as well. Are you finding, Bill, as you go around that that people are rather open about what they think?
Oh, yes.
I would think so, yeah.
Yeah.
In terms of Social Security, the solutions.
We've had some very lively discussions, and as you can imagine, in the process, a lot of side issues get pulled in.
Yes, yes.
And there are side issues, okay, and people feel very strongly that they're related, but they're not directly related to the law, and so eventually we get to acknowledging the things that they're talking about and where their concerns are, and then find a way to go on in our discussions. But yes, you're exactly right. The folks I met with over in Deltona yesterday, they were quite lively in their discussion of things, and I really enjoyed being with them. They bring up things that you don't anticipate, you've never heard before.
Right. And I would think that would be a good side effect of your going out and doing the survey, the interesting stories that people can tell and how they can relate to, even personally, some of the issues that are raised here. How can someone, if a group is interested, and I would think that they should be elders, and I know for AARP the age starts at 50. Anyone over 50 can be an AARP member, for those of you who are interested. But for elder persons in the elder community who would be interested in taking part in this survey, and having you come and share and get their input as well as a part of your data gathering, how would you prefer that they contact you?
Well, that's pretty simple. I do have an email address, and I can give you that.
Okay.
I'm willing to do that. That may be dangerous, but I'm willing to do that. And it's pretty simple. It's my initials and last name, W-A-T-E-R-N-E-N-T. It looks like water, Nent, N-E-N-T, okay.
I call him Bill, but his first name is actually William.
And that's at AOL.com, which makes it pretty simple. The other thing is, I do have a home phone number, and I don't know whether I ought to give you that or not, but you might as well. Everybody else calls. And that's 615-4616 up in Ormond Beach.
386.
Somebody out there might have my old phone number, but we moved from where we were living, and they couldn't carry that phone number with us. That's new. Let me point out something on this which is kind of interesting. If folks do want to invite me out or have someone else from AARP come out and talk with them about social, we have this for Social Security. We have a similar one related to Medicare, which goes through similar issues that are out there related to Medicare. And we'd be happy to do that also. On the very last page in this brochure we've been looking at, there's a big square, and it's empty. And it has a percentage sign at it. And this is rather interesting because, and people get a kick out of this when they finish. For instance, I'm going to walk you through. Pardon me. Suppose on that first thing we said raise the full retirement age, okay, and we said raise it to age 70 by 2040. We'd say, oh, that fills the gap by 44%. We're getting there, aren't we? Okay. And so then we may move to the second that says recalculate the COLA. And they say, well, no, we don't think that it ought to be the one that helps fill the gap, we think it ought to be the one which takes, which recognizes the additional costs of health care and other things for seniors, which would actually increase the cost, which would increase the gap by 16%. So we subtract 16% from 44%. What do we have now? We got 28%? Okay.
Yeah.
So now we got 28%. Now we go to the next one that says, tax all salary reduction plans. They say, well, that's an easy one, yeah. But, you know, everybody ought to have even playing field. So that fills the gap by 28%. So what that is, we're back to 38% from 28%, okay, to 38%. And now increase or eliminate the payroll tax cap. And there's a big argument about that, but we finally agree there that, incidentally, there is a lot of argument over that one, even among seniors. Okay, even among seniors who are not making more than 110,000, there's a lot of argument.
Well, I think they start thinking about their sons and their daughters and the like who are doing it.
That could be. That could be. But at any rate, let's just suppose we're at 38%, and we pick the one here that takes it by as 36%. So now we got 36 plus 38 is 54. Now we go on to increasing the payroll tax rate, and we say, okay, let's raise that just a little bit to the 6.45%, and that'll fill 22% more of the gap. So now where are you?
Now we're at 76.
Okay, now you're at 76, and now we want this benefit improvement for mom who had to stay at home raising the kids, and we want to fix that inequity that we feel, and we decide that ought to be using the 11%, increase the gap by 11%, so you subtract 11% from that.
So it's 65%, back to 65%.
Okay, and now we get to the last one and say reduce benefits for higher earners, and we say, well, let's go all the way on this and let's fill the gap by 31%. Okay. So
we're at 96%.
Okay, so you can see what a challenge.
You know, I didn't hear you say about that cap. Doing that cap, which actually ended up, if we just increased the cap, it was 36%, but if we eliminated the cap, it was 86%. So,
that's right.
I mean, we could go way over.
We could
saving the system.
My point is, you can imagine, okay, the difficulty that our legislators are going to have in working through these kinds of things, and particularly. Pardon me, given our recent track record on being able to work well with one another and arriving at compromise, it can be kind of difficult. Okay.
But, you know, as I said, I mean, a lot of these same solutions, alternatives have been out there for, you know, oh man, for probably a good 20 years or so. At a certain point, we've got to have a reckoning with this information and making some decisions, and hopefully, you know, if we were to, with what AARP is doing and the data gathering and giving them, because sometimes legislators develop a backbone when they hear that the general public believes or supports this or supports that. So given the data gathering that AARP is doing, if that information comes together and goes to them, as it will, you know, not filtered, but as it is, going to our legislators at the state and the national level, so that they have something to fall back on to say that, oh, my people in such and such an area, because I would think you'll break it down too, so that, yeah, a congressperson from this, representing this area would know how the people here felt. And so once we get that, then we could then go ahead and say, as a legislator, they could say, my people support this. Well, you know what? I want to vote in support of what my people, the elder community, are saying they will do, because we know that the majority of voters are in the elder community, legislators. So that's what we're going to do, and that's what they do, and hopefully we don't keep getting to impasse, but we actually get something done. And I look forward to you coming then with the Medicare part of that and sharing that with us so that we can provide our input in regards to that as well. Well, as big as shared, there are some other things that will be going on in the radio, at the radio station shortly. So we're gonna go ahead at this point, and Bill, if you could give them your email address again as to how they can contact you to schedule your coming and getting their input as far as Social Security and Medicare is concerned.
Okay, the first one is water, WATERNENT,
Okay?
Ternent at AOL.com.
All right. And we do thank Bill. Bill is an outstanding advocate for the elder community and with AARP. So we do thank him for coming on the show, and I need you to just come over this way. That's filming. As we prepare for the next show that will be coming on. Let me thank all of you, our listeners, for listening in. Again, we do appreciate your input, and we want you to get with Bill so you can provide added input as far as the elder solutions to Social Security and Medicare are concerned. Be sure to go to the website, www.gwen-truth.com, and join us every Thursday starting at 6:15 when I boot the big guy out of the chair as we discuss issues to inform and empower you, our listeners. Also, be sure to go to the website, www.gwen-truth.com. Until next time, be informed, be empowered, stand tall for that which is right and truthful. Until next time, this is Truth with Gwen Azama-Edwards. And like you, like Bill, like so many, we're still standing. You be blessed and have a great week.
Thank you.
All right, Mike. You want to? I gotta cut this off.
Hey, Mom, look, there's a dinosaur. Wow.
Because you know what has happened?